Finally, there we go. I think it's about time for a brew. Let's get a drink going, and then we'll get back to this. Alright guys, we finally got through the route here, and boy was it a job. So I was going to relax and celebrate my victory, if you can call it a victory, with a nice cup of tea. So got some rinse water in my cup there. It's been banging around on my pack through the woods for a while. Got the little leaf debris and stuff in the bottom. Oh. Out of water in that bottle. Get my other bottle here. One thing you can never have enough of when you're out and about, and that's water. I usually carry a little over 2 liters. This bottle here holds 44 ounces, so that's just over a liter. And then I got my GISU canteen and cup there, and that holds a liter, so just over 2 liters. Gotta stay hydrated. Go. Our stove's going good. Set our cup of water on there. It's a little off balance, but hopefully it won't tilt. A couple tea bags, drop them down in there. In a few minutes our tea will be ready. We'll get back with you. Okay, our tea's just about done. And while that was brewing up, I was taking a look at our wood we harvested from the root of that fallen down pine. And I finally got it split into 3 separate pieces, and man, did that take some doing. Let's see if you can get a closer look of it here. As you can tell, it doesn't look like there's hardly any sap in there. No deep red streaks or anything to look like it would be just saturated with resin. That right there looks like it may be, but I feathered some up and it barely took a spark. It's not like the fat wood you get off the limb or out of the stump. It's I figured it'd be way richer than it is, to be honest with you. To get to this was a lot of trouble for, well, honestly, a lot of nothing. So that was a bust. Well guys, my little fat wood from a pine root experiment was a no-go. It was not what I was hoping it to be. There was very little, if any, fat wood in that root stock. And it was a pain in the butt to get to. So I think I'm gonna tea's done here. Wow, that's hot. It did just come off the fire. Got my brew here, and I'm gonna partake of it and maybe go back down there to the fallen tree and get a branch or two off and hopefully get some fat wood from that. But as it stands, fat wood from the root of a fallen tree, not such a good idea. If any of y'all out there has had better luck at it than I have, drop me a line, let me know. Okay, we're back. Well, I was waiting for my tea to cool down enough so I can drink it. Good stuff. And it not burn the food out of my hand while I'm doing it. Well, while that was cooling off, I took a trip back down to the fallen tree and broke off a couple of limbs that were pretty close to the base of the tree, and I'm going to split them up here and hopefully get a bit of fat wood out of this tree. Hopefully more than I got out of the root part of it, that's for sure. Alright, well, let's get started on that. Alright guys, after I had my little break with my tea there, I went back down to the tree and got a couple of limbs off of it, and I've been busy splitting those up. And I didn't hit the mother lode, but I did find some fat wood. So, let's see if we can get a picture of this on the camera or not here. It's not a lot, but right down through there, there's a streak of fat wood. Nice, pretty, and deep red. You know, on the other pieces here, there's a little stream running right through there. Sounds like a storm's about to come. And right through there, and down through there. So, compare that to the root here, which I thought was going to be just full of it, and there's nothing really. It looks like there might be some sap in this, but it's just not rich enough to do anything. And here's the other piece of the root, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, my conclusion is the branches, even though this particular one didn't have all that much in it, it had more than the root, and it was a heck of a lot easier to harvest this than it was the root stalk. That was some hard stuff. I was not prepared for it to be that tough. But the branches and whatnot, cut through them like butter. So, well, for this little experiment, I'm going to say it's not worth the cutting the root up trying to find fat wood when it's much more abundant in the lower limbs and stump of the tree, like everyone says. Or I guess there was a reason no one's getting their fat wood from roots. Alright, well, if you had a different experience personally, let me know. Tell me how that worked out for you. Put it in a video if you want. That would be great. Until next time, I'm Bub for Backwoods Uncle Bub's Bushcraft, and we'll see you later. Thank you. Hey guys, I just want to take a moment. If you've been keeping up with my video, you noticed when I was splitting this big root, it was very hard to baton down, and so I made some wedges here, and I was beating them in with my beating stick. And if you noticed, I was doing something that was very, very dumb, and is because I was exasperated, I was hot, I was worried about my battery dying, I was worried about getting caught in the storm that was coming in. Basically, my head was not in the game. And when you're out in the bush, one thing you want to be aware of is always have your head where you're at. I mean, you don't want to be off thinking about other things and not paying attention to what you're doing, because that's when you start to make mistakes. And that's when you can get really hurt, really bad. Luckily, I was just on the back corner of my property and I wasn't too far away from medical treatment if it needed to be. But I didn't hurt myself that bad. It probably won't even bruise. But what I was doing, sorry about the train, guys. It's about that time. I was holding my wedge with my fist closed, and I was beating down on the wedge with my hand, holding it like so. And what happened was I missed, and I hit the palm of my hand like so. And luckily I didn't hit it very hard. It probably won't even bruise. But if you're not careful and something like this happens, you could literally wind up breaking this bone right here, possibly even your wrist and or arm. And that's not good when you're out far out in the bush and whatnot. I wasn't thinking, and what I should have been doing was holding my wedge the same way as you would hold a tent stake when you're hammering it into the ground. And this is a little tip that I learned from Aya Woodsman, and that is hold the stake with your palm up like so. That way, if you do miss, you're not hitting straight bone, you're hitting into the meat of your hand. And it may smart and it may hurt, but the likelihood of it actually breaking a bone is very slim. It's an ingenious way to hold a tent stake or wedge or anything like that you're pounding in with a lot of force, because it could actually save you a lot of pain and anguish. I mean, I'm not left-handed, but I use my left hand a lot, especially when I'm out in the bush. You know, I'm tying knots, gathering wood and whatnot, and you really don't realize how much you use a hand until it's not there to be used. So that's just a good tip, and I wanted to pass it on to you if you didn't already know about it. It was a bad mistake on my behalf, and I'll try to keep my head where I'm at from now on. Hopefully avoid those terrible accidents. Alright, we'll holler at you later. Y'all take care.